Sino Indian War. Introduction. This war was between the Republic of India and the People's Republic of China. The war happened in 1962, some years after the independence of India and the establishment of PRC. The causes of the Sino Indian War. India and China are next to each other, sharing a long border. At the border, there is an area called Aksai Chin. Since about middle of 18th century and before 1947, India was a colony of Britain. British India and Tibet had never clearly marked the mutual border. In 1914, the British government drew the McMahon Line as a border and claimed Aksai Chin as a territory of India. Though this line has been agreed by the Tibetans, the Republic of China refused to accept it, as Tibet was not a country and could not make treaty with other countries. After the independence of India in 1947 and the establishment of the People's Republic in China (PRC), in 1949, PRC claimed control of Tibet. PRC posted troops in Aksai Chin and built a road from Xinjiang through Aksai Chin to Tibet. However, India claimed Aksai Chin as its own territory. Though there were negotiations made between PRC and India, the dispute on the border was not resolved. PRC wanted to control the leader of Tibet, Dalai Lama. In 1959, Dalai Lama escaped from Tibet and accepted by India. The confrontation between the two countries increased. PRC thought that India was trying to take away Tibet from China. In 1962, there were repeated incidents between Indian troops and PRC troops at the border between India and China. The war eventually started. The type of causes of the Sino-Indian War were imperialism and territorial expansion. In my opinion, this war was a territorial war. It was mainly about the area called Aksai Chin and concerning the question which country should be the owner of this part of land. The British India had claimed this land because of imperialism, but after the British left India, the new independent government was not ready to control the whole country and needed time to regain the control over territory and post their troops. Within this period of time, PRC took the chance to expand its territory and post troops in Aksai Chin and build in there a road to Tibet. Later, India wanted to claim back Aksai Chin, thus a war happened. Who was involved in the war? At the time of the war, the Prime Minister of India was Jawaharlal Nehru, and the Defense Minister of India was V.K. Krishna Menon, whilst the leading rulers of PRC were Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai. The rulers of both countries had met with each other. They tried to negotiate about the border, but failed to reach any agreement. The consequences of the war. China won the war. The consequences for the rulers. After PRC had won the war, Mao Zedong, the chairman of PRC, gained more authority over the peoples and strengthened his status in PRC. After India had lost the war, the Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, was accused by government officials and his health became poor and died in May 1964. Because of the war, the Defense Minister of India, V.K. Krishna Menon, was forced to resign. Consequences for the everyday people. The war affected little people because there was little people living in Aksai Chin, and the war lasted a month only. In total, only about 2,000 people were killed due to the war. Is it a typical war? It was a typical war related to a territorial dispute between two countries, which were next to each other. It concerned the ownership of an area of land at their border, and it was fought at the border. It was a typical war involving conflicting acts between two countries. The rulers of China were not happy with India because India accepted Dalai Lama. Therefore, conflict between India and China increased, and it started the war.